Hello, everyone.
Good evening.
How are you going?
We have
Third week.
it's the third week of Hallowtober.
Yes. Hello.
It's I wouldn't actually, it's not a mixed bag. I was going to say it's a mixed bag, but
It's
it's actually not.
pretty concise.
Yeah, we kind of accidentally had a little bit of a theme with
Mm.
this one. We didn't know until we put it together.
And it's really an amazing theme. I actually
Yeah.
think this is like one
Yeah.
of my favorite weeks of
Yeah.
films ever.
Yep.
Yes.
You got some female-centric movies
Mm.
coming at you. All horror movies this week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah. Where men don't come off so good
but that's okay.
because men are... Anyway. So what's first tonight?
We are starting with Oddity.
Oddity is a Irish film, isn't it?
Yes, it's an Irish horror film written and directed by Damien McCarthy. It follows a blind medium and a curio shopkeeper who is still grieving the death of her twin sister a year prior, when a wooden mannequin from her collection becomes crucial to her quest to discovering her murderer. This movie is creepy as fuck.
Oh my God. I have a big affinity for films that give you sense of dread,
Yeah.
like moments of sheer and utter terror, or your stomach just drops. And oh my God, this film had like 5 or 6 moments of
Yeah.
that. It's
Like-
brilliant.
Like Japanese horror, Irish horror really,
Hits.
it
It slaps, as the kids say.
It slaps. It tends to get you right deep down inside in ways that standard horror films do not.
Especially the beginning now, because as the description says, the death of her sister. Now, the death of her sister is actually one of the most fear and dread-inducing moments of a film I've seen, a modern film, in years.
Yeah, we start the movie with a woman who's renovating
A castle?
a castle. It's kind of a castle. I mean,
Mm.
they have
It's a home that her and her husband have bought, but
everything looks like a castle
And he's
in
at
Old
work,
Island,
so-
really. Yeah, he's a psychiatrist, the husband. So the wife's been tasked with kind of renovating the house, and she's there in the middle of the night. And she's decided
Nope.
to stay there during the night. And
Nope.
all of a sudden, this guy comes to their door. His name is Olin Bull. We find out later that he's actually a psychiatric patient.
but actually tells her that he knows her husband as well.
Yeah, which
Yeah, that's just
obviously,
warning sign.
Yeah, would know the husband because he's a psychiatrist. But he's come to the house because he's seen someone come into the house at night.
To the property.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and there's someone inside, and she needs to let him in because there's someone in there, and
he
that
wants to
person is
protect
going to
her.
harm her, and she has to let him in to help. And of
It's-
course, as you would,
Nope.
a stranger rocks up to your door at night and says, "Hey, hello there, perfect stranger I've never met. There's someone in your house. Let me in. I'll help you." You'd be like,
No.
"Nah, I don't think so."
And we can spoil this part, just this
Yeah,
part.
yeah,
There is.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Olin Bull was right. There
And-
was someone in the house.
and whether it is Olin Bull or not, we're not going to spoil that bit.
Yeah.
But because he leaves the front door after being told to rack off, and it has she looks back. She goes outside after he's left, and she looks back, and she sees something.
Yeah,
And like I love films like Zodiac and what was that other film? The Strangers.
yeah,
And it has that moment has a very similar vibe where you just go, oh Jesus, I don't want to
She
see the
ignores
rest.
it for a little bit, and then she gets in a little makeshift tent that she's put up in the middle of this castle because it's freezing cold. It's Ireland. It's nighttime, and she tries to go to sleep, and she hears some noises, and she's like, I don't know about this. So she's like, okay, hang on, that's right. I put a camera in one of the rooms to take,
A photo every 10 seconds or so.
just to capture the footage of what's going on there.
Because the place is reportedly haunted.
Yeah.
And that's one of the big things is like, is it a ghost? Is it someone? Because, I mean, we don't know if Olin Bull's actually saying it was a ghost or a person.
Yeah.
And she obviously she's a bit of a thrill seeker being there at night, and she wants
Yeah.
to see if there is a ghost. And she ain't afraid of no ghost.
No, but the camera footage shows that probably there ain't no ghost, but there's definitely someone there.
And that's where we'll leave
Yeah.
that part of the story.
Yes. So flash forward to a year later,
Yeah.
and this lady's twin sister, who is a bit of a psychic and owns a
Curio shop?
yeah, like curiosity shop. It's an antique shop, but it sells odd curiosities that have
Supernatural sort of properties.
Yeah, and she's sort of able to touch these things and figure out where they've come from and what they're linked to.
There's a great story about a bell that I was transfixed by. That was like the story was more eerie
Yeah,
than a lot of some of the film.
yeah,
And I was like, don't touch the bell. Don't go near the bell. And it just sets you up like.
it's a very simple story,
Oh.
but it's enough to make you want to go like, please don't, no, don't touch, please, no.
That sense of like foreboding and dread is just
Yeah.
it's palpable in this damn movie.
Yeah,
And the widowed husband goes to visit her a year later, and because he's grieving of his wife as well, and so he goes to visit her.
she goes to visit him.
No, well, he goes to visit her in the shop.
Yeah.
And she tells him the story.
Yeah.
And then they talk, and she misconstrues, or so we think, an invitation to the house because he's living there now with his new girlfriend, and it's completely renovated. And well, not completely. It's actually it's made livable, but it's still sparsely furnished. This one said, I wouldn't have the furniture like this. I need the furniture.
It's too naked.
Too naked. And I was like, going, yeah,
Not enough stuff.
She's
Too
right.
cold.
She's right. And so she turns up. He's got work. His girlfriend's got work. No one's going to be there. She says, that's okay. I'll just stay here. And what happens is she is sent a chest to the actual house, and she said, well, this belongs to our mother, so my sister would be okay with me bringing it here. Won't say anything more about the chest, but
Let's just say there's something inside that chest that's creepy as fuck.
yes,
Yep.
creepy as fuck.
Yep.
So yeah, the rest of the movie plays on the chest.
Yep.
And what's inside
the
the chest. And we won't say what's inside the chest, but my God,
Yep.
Oddity is exactly what it is.
Yep.
Curio.
Yep. If you like really smart, think outside the book kind of horror films, then this is the movie for you.
Absolutely.
This is great. What would you give it out of 10?
I'd give it an 8.5.
So would I, actually. I was really surprised by this movie.
Shocking. The Irish
I
really
didn't know much about it going in.
I knew nothing.
Yeah.
Which was great. That was so
Great
good.
way to go into this movie, actually.
Sorry if we spoiled a little bit for you, but actually we haven't spoiled anything really. Our next one.
Abigail.
Yes, that's one that we've been sitting on for a while.
Yeah, we saw this movie a while back.
At the cinema.
Yeah. We kind of have differing opinions on it.
See, when I say at the cinema, I get excited because cinema is my favourite place on earth. And seeing a movie at the cinema is different from obviously watching at home, unless you've got like a cinema at home.
Yeah.
But I often think that when you see a film at the cinema, it enhances your enjoyment tenfold if you've got a good audience that shut up
Yes.
and the film is halfway decent.
Yes.
And I really enjoyed this film.
For me, this was more of a stock standard horror.
But the cast is amazing.
Yeah, it's an American horror comedy. It's got a lot of recognizable faces in it, like Michelle Barrera, Dan Stevens, Kevin Durand, who's fantastic.
Catherine Newton.
Yes, Catherine Newton.
Those are onions, Sammy.
So it's a very good cast.
Giancarlo Esposito.
Oh yeah, Giancarlo. Yeah,
Whoo, he's awesome in it.
we'll get into that in a sec. But it's a movie about a group of people who don't know each other.
It's like Ocean's like an
Yes.
Ocean's, like a heist movie,
Yeah.
but heist kidnapping movie
Yeah.
with as
Things that happen.
supernatural bent.
Yeah, they've been tasked with kidnapping this little girl who's the daughter of a rich
Dude.
dude. They don't know much more than that. They just know that at the end of the night they're going to get money out of it.
Yeah, they're going to get a nice fat reward.
Yes,
Yes.
but they learn as the night goes on not only about each other, but the fact that the little girl that they've kidnapped is not just a little girl.
She's a ballerina.
She's a ballerina.
And
I don't think it's a spoiler to give away the fact.
because the trailer gives it away, and
Yeah.
it sucks if you don't
Yeah.
know this. So clean your ears. Put your hands over your ears, earmuffs, for 10 seconds.
She's a vampire.
Ah.
So great idea, right?
Awesome idea.
Yeah, great idea. Tiny little ballerina girl who's now going to attack this.
Because they're not, they haven't trapped her.
No,
She's trapped them.
that's right. Yeah,
And chaos ensues, and that's really all the plot.
yeah. It is literally that simple. And
Isn't it Radio Silence did this one?
I'm not sure.
The guys that did the Scream, the 5 and 6.
Now I have to look things up.
Okay, so there are some extremely wickedly funny one-liners in the film. Now, I know this one doesn't think that.
Directed by Matt Bettolini, Olpen, and Tyler Gillett.
Yeah, Radio
cool.
Silence.
There you go.
Yeah, so those guys did Scream 5 and 6, and they did Ready or Not. And this has a very similar vibe to Ready or
that
Not.
actually makes a lot of sense.
Oh, see the disdain in their voice.
No,
there.
I liked Ready or Not,
Okay.
actually. But
That's why I
this was
wanted to see
actually
it.
this was actually a very similar concept to Ready or Not.
It's a hunter prey turning into the hunter.
Yeah, exactly. But they had the advantage in Ready or Not of having Samara Weaving as the protagonist, and
That's why she was in Scream 6.
Yeah.
At the beginning.
excellent choice.
Mhm.
You know, she can hold an entire movie together.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
One of our shining stars.
And I'm not going to say that
Aussie.
that the actors in this movie were bad, because they weren't.
Dan
Kev-
Stevens was awesome, and
Yeah,
Kevin Durand
it
was
might have been
amazing.
Kevin Durand's best role,
Mm.
actually. But it was the concept to me that was the concept was great. It was the
Execution.
execution of that concept that was lacking. It should have been a lot of fun.
It was. To this guy.
It lacked that extra. Like there wasn't enough silly violence. It should have.
It could have been gorier.
Yeah, it could have been. It's one of those movies that really needed to be dialed up to 11 to work.
There was a nice homage to Fright Night in there, though. I just absolutely. I don't know if you remember when I was in the cinema. I was jumping up and down on my seat because I knew exactly what it was. This shot it was saying.
I got that again. I was like,
I think she was in a cynical mood that week.
no, it wasn't that. It wasn't.
Yeah,
it was
it
just.
was. Yeah.
It's the writing, actually.
Mhm.
When the characters are getting together before we find out that the little girl they've kidnapped is a vampire.
It's a bit trite.
Yeah,
There is a scene that is a bit trite.
Yeah, they're learning who they are, and we've got Melissa Barrera, who decides that she's the one who knows all their backstories just based on who they are. And we get that very lazy character exposition where we have one person going, you are this, you are this, you are this, you are this.
It's like an Ocean's 11 sort of explanation
Yeah,
sort of
and
thing,
it's
but
like-
done very ham-fistedly.
Yeah, and it's like that is very much how this entire film feels to me. It is a kind of lazy, kind of disappointing version of something that could have been really great.
Okay, so what would you give this out of 10?
Now, having said that, I don't actually hate this movie. It sounds
God,
like
you're
I really
confusing.
sounds like I really hate it. I'd actually probably give it a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, I'll give it a 7.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I give it a 6.
I might sound I actually absolutely love this film, but I give it a 7. So, I mean, we come at really the same conclusion, but from two different angles.
Yeah.
Because I am easily pleased cinematically.
I think it's one
You
of
should see my collection.
these movies that I probably held to a higher standard when I walked in there and was disappointed with the result.
It's a horror film.
But, Fright Night was a horror comedy film.
And that's one of the most intellectually awesome films ever.
Incredibly well written.
Yeah.
And this could have been that.
Okay, the Radio Silence is not Tom Holland. I mean, that guy wrote Psycho 2.
Yeah.
Come on. Yeah, higher standard. Yeah, fair enough. Okay, so what is next, my dear?
Ooh, next.
Oh, she made me watch this.
we delve into spicier territory.
Spicier?
With the 2010...
I haven't told you what I thought about this yet, have I?
No, you haven't.
Okay, cool.
The 2010 remake of I Spit on Your Grave.
Huck 2.
Yeah.
I'm going to put Huck 2 in the tags.
Yeah. If you know anything about the original, it's...
Day of the Woman.
Yeah, Day of the Woman. Exploitative
It's right there.
rape genre.
Rape revenge film.
Yeah, rape revenge film. That's what this is. It's a rape revenge film.
We learnt all about that at uni.
Yep.
Yeah. And was it Maya... What was his name? Miyazaki? Yeah, Miyazaki is the original director of yeah, and he came on as the a producer of this because he owns the film basically, and the original film I saw way too young. I'm not going to blame anyone, my sister, for letting me see this, but I saw this way too young, and I was flummoxed. Yeah, gobsmacked when I saw this when I was a child. And there is one scene in particular that stands out, the bath scene.
Yep.
And any guy that's seen that, I was so confused by this movie. I was thinking, well, men are crap and, and women, yay, empowerment, And so from a young age, I knew that.
So what did you think of the remake?
Loved it.
Yeah.
I was so shocked. It took us 5 hours to watch this film, guys.
Yeah, there were a lot of interruptions.
Not by us.
No, just
circumstance.
Yeah, random phone calls, people coming to the door, things like that. It took
5 hours.
Yeah, a long time to get through the first third of the movie.
And it didn't get to the rape scene for like 3 hours of this 5 hours, and we were just like, I was sitting there going, I know this happens. And then when we actually managed to watch the rest of the film, I was like, oh,
yeah,
it's so starkly confronting. And I was, again, it took me back to when I was a kid. It was like, wow, men are pigs.
Yeah, I've seen this movie probably 3 times now, and it's been
3 times.
Yeah, it's been a while since I watched it.
It's just one of your favorites, is it?
No, but it's one of those movies you watch when you just want to get a bit of
revenge.
I
can understand that.
J-Lo's enough, Sometimes you just need to...
Oh, you made me watch that.
That's right.
Oh, God.
That was not a good movie. But anyway, it's been a while since I've seen I Spit on Your Grave. And I
Does it stand up?
Yeah, it really does. I remember liking it, but I thought, did I like it because of where I was mentally back then, and would I like it as much now? And yeah, I kind of do.
You liked it more, I think, because of...
I don't know, but yeah, it's not a perfect movie.
It's actually very low budget.
Yeah, it's very B-grade horror, but it's meant to be, and it knows that it is.
Exactly. It knows the film it is. Yeah. It's not trying to be high art. It's actually retelling the same story, but in a completely different way. And they had the MacGuffins. I love them in films,
Right from the first scene.
Yeah,
the MacGuffins are there.
And that phone.
Yeah.
I was like, you have got to be kidding me. That's the smartest way of dealing with that.
Yeah.
And this was 2010?
Yep.
I was like, yes, exactly. Back then, the technology was that.
Yeah.
It's not that there is no signal.
Yeah.
It's just something happens, and we're not going to tell anything because this is a film you have to experience. It is a film experience. It's
Yeah.
as we say, it's not high art. It's not the best film ever, but it makes you feel upset.
Yeah. And that's what's great about it. I was worried that having been away from it for a while, that perhaps I was going to come back to it and go, oh, actually, the rape scene is a little bit forced. It's a bit gratuitous. But it's actually not.
It's actually it's
it's
not
in
tasteful.
no,
It's not tasteful
no.
at all. But it's not dealt with in a way that makes you sympathize with the men at all,
Yeah.
and it doesn't overly play its hand with being overtly sympathetic to her.
Yeah.
She plays it so finely, and she does everything right. See, this is the thing, and it's just like fate. It's like it's like they say in Scream and Halloween. Fate it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And this poor girl, she's walking down a road, and it's a straight road, and this is exactly what's going to happen no matter what.
Yeah.
And it's so confronting.
Yeah, and it's not shot like pornography either.
At all.
You see certain things, but most of what you think you should see is actually left to the imagination.
And I thought it had ended, like the actual scene had ended, and then it keeps on going. And going, and going, and it reinforces the point that rape never ends.
Yeah.
Abuse never ends. It's always with you, or always. It's prolonged agony.
To me, it was actually reminiscent of the classic French movie Irreversible.
I still haven't seen it.
Oh boy, with the 12-minute rape scene in that, which again is probably the only other rape scene I've seen in cinema that is not shot gratuitously or pornographically.
We're really going to have to put a warning on the beginning of this one.
It's shot to candidly, and in Irreversible, nothing is left to the imagination, and the camera doesn't shy away for a minute. But
I really don't want to see that film.
Yeah, it gets the point across, and it does in I Spit on Your Grave as well, and to the filmmaker for that, because of course, obviously, the second half of the movie is just
her getting her revenge.
Yeah, and it is
excellently
The
executed.
bloody glory that you would expect.
And man, they had Joey from Elm Street 3 and 4. He's one of my favorite characters in the entire series, probably like top 3 characters.
Yeah.
He's a piece of shit in this film. Yeah. It's like it was like, oh man, Joey, what's wrong? Rodney Eastman, he does a great job in this film.
Yeah.
Really, just he was the standout actor of the bad guys. I thought.
Yeah.
I thought he actually was the most capable of actor of the bad guys.
Yeah.
And his demise. Wow, baby. Woo.
Yeah.
I mean, Fight Club didn't sell high enough.
If you like your gross out horror, this is the movie for you.
So
I would give this an 8.5 out of 10, actually.
I would give it,
for like knowing that it's a B grade horror. You're not going in to watch carefully thought out, high budget A grade cinema here. You're going in knowing that it's B grade horror. I'd give it an 8.5 out of 10.
Yeah, it's not a Denis Villeneuve film. And that guy that's going to remake American Psycho. Anyway, I'll give this an 8 out of 10.
Ooh, we're pretty similar then.
Yeah. I was actually so surprised that I'm going to have to watch the rest of the series. Because in part...
I actually haven't seen the rest of the series, so we can probably go on that journey together.
Yes, I think that would be a very good idea.
Anyway, moving on to our final film, which is probably our favourite film of the 4, I would have to say, without even knowing.
That was an 8 and an 8.5.
Yeah. We saw this movie
last night. It's been a very trying 24 hours.
This is Anna Kendrick's directorial debut, Woman of the Hour.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
I have never seen a actor turned director do such a nice job of like going, okay, I'm an actor.
Yeah.
Director. and she just flipped the switch, and my God, she's up there with Fincher.
Yeah, I was almost like in tears for womankind, just in the first 5 minutes of the movie alone, just going, wow, the
Everything,
the care that has been taken.
every single aspect of this
Yeah,
film,
it's just
sound design,
Yep.
cinematography, dialogue,
Yep.
direction,
Yep.
the camera moves
yeah.
on its
Set
own.
design, costume design,
There's
lighting, everything.
there is a shot, it's the first shot of the film where the camera starts off in a car, and it goes through the car and out of the car, and like, oh, where are we going and what are we seeing? And we're hearing dialogue, like from the distance, and it keeps on building and building, and then we're suddenly in the scene with the two actors, and they're just talking. And if you've seen Zodiac, there's a moment in that film where the Zodiac killer comes across two people at Lake Berryessa in California, and he comes along and he kills these two people. I'm not going to tell you any more than that. And it is the coldest thing I've ever seen on film. It's the scariest scene I've ever seen on film. This rivals it.
Very much so.
And this is the beginning of the freaking movie.
And if you haven't heard about it, this movie documents the game show serial killer of the 70s, Rodney Alcala.
And he was on the dating game,
Yeah.
which was that ran for decades in America. And they had like people like Sally Field on it.
Yep.
It had many famous people that went on to other things. I think Vanna White was on there.
Yep.
And
they happened to have him on one night, though. It's the same night as a lady.
What was her name?
Cheryl
Bradford? Yeah, Cheryl
Bradshaw.
Yeah, Cheryl Bradshaw.
Yeah.
And she was a person that went on the show, played the game, literally played the game, and she played them.
Yeah.
And very smartly. And
but she picked Rodney Alcala.
Bachelor number 3.
No, Bachelor number 1, actually.
In real life,
he was
yeah.
Bachelor number, in the movie, he was
Bachelor number 3. Because the film was originally called Cheryl Meets Rodney.
Yeah.
Then it was called Bachelor number 3.
Yeah.
Because that sounds better than Bachelor number 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it was called Woman of the Hour.
Yeah. But yeah, in real life, he was Bachelor number 1.
Yeah.
And yeah, she picked him, but...
But that's really one of the only... there are inconsistencies, but
actually, we won't actually say what happens in real life, just in case you don't know what happens in real life.
It gets most things right. Like one of these... See, the thing that I loved about
it actually gets everything right. It's just they change the order of a few things and specifically what was said for
the dramatic purposes.
Yeah.
But the thing I like about this
very good way, by the
is that you don't see the film through the male gaze. You don't, not at all. There is no objectifying of women in this, because every other serial killer film and series and all that, like Monster with the Dharma, Zodiac, all that, they're all directed by men, and we all see females in it from the male point of view, from the male gaze. And I've yet to have seen, until last night, a film directed by a woman that shows you the female point of view.
Yeah.
And I sat there stunned, like going, oh, it's one of those films that like, if this had got a cinema release, of course it's on Netflix, if it got a cinema release, I don't know if would do great business, but if you saw it at the cinema, it would probably change your life.
Absolutely.
And
because he goes through a few victims in the movie, and every single one,
it's so hardcore.
The females. I mean, he's there, so his perspective is there as well. But
his actions are there.
That's right. His actions are there,
but his point of view isn't there.
That's right. The feeling is what the woman would feel,
or the victim
would feel in that moment. That that unease of having someone come upon you and
it's
not knowing whether to trust them, and then realizing you can't trust them, and then realizing, I really fucked up. They're gonna kill me right now. It's
the first time I ever felt
masterful.
that danger from a male
Yeah.
that women must feel. It's the first
Yeah.
time well, not the first time experienced, but first time I've actually felt,
Yeah.
so this is what they're talking about
Yeah.
when they're talking about men
Yeah.
objectify women
Yeah.
and men are pieces of shit
Yeah.
and men always have that the threat. And we talked about this afterwards. There's a line in it that's the best line I've heard in years. She says, so which one do I choose? And she goes, well, you could ask the question, which one is going to hurt me more?
Yeah.
And I just went, oh my God. It was like,
Yeah.
that's not
Damn.
comfortable.
Damn.
And it's so,
Yeah.
yeah.
This was an incredible piece of cinema.
Thank you, Adam. By the way, thank you, Adam,
Yes.
for recommending
Thank you,
this.
Adam. Yeah, he learned that we'd seen I Spit on Your Grave. He's like, well, if you like that, watch this. It's diametrically opposite. And it is, but it isn't. But I know exactly what you mean, Adam. And thank you.
Man,
This is probably the best thing I've seen all year.
and Anna Kendrick as an actress is perfect in this.
Yeah.
I think Academy Award
Yes.
nominee
Yeah.
worthy. Her and Demi Moore.
Yeah.
Fight it out, girls.
Yeah, that's it.
Because it sorry to say girls. The guy who plays Rodney Alcala,
He's great.
he's
He's
given
scary.
Vincent D'Onofrio vibes.
Yeah.
And didn't you say that you thought he was yeah, did you say
No, I agree. He was Vincent D'Onofrio. He had that
that killer stare?
yeah, but incredibly charismatic. You know, he's good looking, but not, you know, overtly good looking. He's cute kind of thing. But there's something about him that also makes you go, oh, he could turn on a dime, couldn't he?
And he does.
Yeah.
But I mean, I got the shivers thinking about this film because it
Yeah.
is so good. Like, I am shocked. It is in my top 3 for the year. And that's this has been one of the best years for film.
Yeah, especially horror film.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yes, and this is a horror film.
Yeah.
I mean, Adam and I are having a big discussion at the moment. Is Silence of the Lambs a horror film or a thriller? I think it's a horror
It's a
film.
horror movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Adam, I'm sorry, buddy, it's a horror film.
Yeah.
He thinks it's a thriller.
Just like Jaws is a horror movie.
Oh, he
Dave.
agrees with us with that. Yeah.
No, I'm talking to Dave.
Dave. Oh,
now.
yeah, Dave.
Talking
Come
to
on,
Dave
mate.
now.
Come on, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what will you ask me this time?
This is a 10 out of 10 for me. This
Without a doubt.
yeah, I don't give a 10 out of 10 to many movies.
One this year, I think.
I don't.
Yeah, Late Night with the Devil, wasn't it?
Yeah, maybe Late Night with the Devil. I gave a 10 out of 10. Oh yeah, this and that. The only two that I thought were hit me enough to go, wow, this is incredible. I want to tell everyone, I want to tell all my friends,
was
go
like-
see this movie.
I mean, it's a completely different film, but it's like when I saw Godzilla -1 last year. I just wanted to shout it from the rooftop saying, go see this movie. Guys, watch this movie.
Yeah.
It's on Netflix. Everyone bloody got Netflix. There is no excuse. Like, this is a film that every man should see.
Yeah. And I know not just men, but
No, but
But people in general tend to go, a woman with a directorial debut, yeah, I'll wait till I hear what everyone says and then maybe I'll give it a go 2 years from now. No,
just watch it.
it's in the top 10 on Netflix now.
It's number 1.
Go watch it.
Uh,
It's
the-
fantastic.
The thing is, like, for men, I'm talking to you guys out there, you need to see this to see what they're talking about when they're saying not all men and all that. That's bullshit. It is all men.
It is.
Okay, it's the threat
Yeah.
of men is palpable in this, and we need to watch these kind of films to realize, how much we've got to change.
This shit is the reason we hold our keys with us when we walk to our cars.
I hold my keys when I walk to the cars. Yeah, I don't trust any bugger.
Quite rightly.
Yes. So that is our 4 for this week.
Yes. We had a really good 4 this week, I think.
Oh, I think the strongest 4 we've had.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry to the other films, but this is like,
Yeah.
this was a scary week.
Yeah. We didn't know it was going to be this when we started.
No,
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be a much benign week.
Yeah.
Week 3, when you get to the third part of
Yeah.
a series, usually is the
Circumstances beyond our control have sort of pushed us towards these movies
Mhm.
this week.
And it's been
Okay.
it's been cathartic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Anyway,
on that note, catharsis. I can't even say the bloody word now.
catharsis.
Thank you. I'm thirsty. I'm going to stay hydrated.
Yep. And remember, leggings and not pants.
Not even in the 70s.
Not in any situation.
If you're on the dating game, you would not wear leggings, would you?
God, no.
Yeah.
No.
No?
No.
Okay. Well, then, on that note, good night.